Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Parents and Teachers. This is a quick video that I made. It's painting 101 for children. As you can see on the screens, I got different geometrical shapes, and this is just a way for them to start learning how to paint and paint within the line. So it's a fun project. You guys ready? Hit it, DJ. All right, so a few things you'll need. Some paints, and you can get this at the local craft store, like Michael's, Walmart, and they're relatively inexpensive. These, it can range anywhere from 70 cents to upwards of $1.50 or so, depending on the brand and what kind of paint you get, whether it's glossy or metallic. These are pretty much flat colors, and there's so many of them, different shades, different colors that you can get, so you can just pick up a couple of them. As far as like a canvas, these are flat, and this particular one comes in 5-pack, and I got this at Michael's. This one is 6x8, so it'll cost you about $6 or $7, so it's not bad. And then you'll need some brushes, and those type of stores, they also sell kits, in different sizes, and it'll cost a couple of dollars, so it's not very expensive at all. So you'll need a ruler and a pencil. That way we can do the squares and the rectangles and the stuff like that relatively easy with a straighter line. So let's get started to the next step. All right, so I drew some lines using a ruler. I did the pencil heavier so you can see it on the camera. Try to keep it light, because especially using paint, you may still see the lines once you paint it. So try to just do a little bit light, but heavy enough that the kids can see it. And you don't have to have this many squares and rectangles. I'm just doing it for the purpose of this video. It's the whole concept of this, the whole project is to get them to start using acrylic paints on canvas, and practicing to use, to paint straight lines and things like that. So let's get started. So I'm just gonna paint this bigger square here, and then you know just try to follow the line. And obviously, they may, when you're starting out, you're gonna go over it. That's totally fine. Like I said, this exercise to start painting and getting more involved and more creative. Do watch my other videos. I do have other videos showing other painting techniques and different steps you can also do. So just make sure to subscribe to my channel and see the other videos that I have. So all right, let me speed this up so we can get to the next step. All right, so we completed that first square, and make sure you have a bowl of water, clean water or a cup, just so you can clean the brushes in between the colors and things like that, because you don't want them to stay, with the paint on there, because it'll eventually dry, and you definitely don't want that. And I was just thinking too, with this project, let the kids pick what squares goes with what colors. It's just a fun projects for them to start figuring out the color concept and designing, in a way. So like I said, it's an easy, fun project. It can be messy. Just keep that in mind. And with these paints, with acrylic, especially these, they dry relatively quickly. Just be careful that that they don't get it all over themselves. Maybe not wear the nice t-shirt or shorts or whatnot. Anyway, so let's go to the next step. So I'm just gonna take this pool blue, that's the name of it. Like I said, there's so many different colors out there that you can use. And then I'm gonna go up here and see what happened right here. That can happen, is that little spot. Let me see if I can get it right there. So that's the thing with some of these paints that are very liquidy. That can happen. Oftentimes on some of my paintings, bigger paintings, I mask it. I put a piece of paper or something like that so it doesn't splatter. So just, little things to keep in mind. And this, what I like about this project is that, they can feel good about themselves that they created a painting. They can give it as a gift to their parents, their grandparents, or keeping it for themselves. And it's almost like an abstract paintings. I mean, there's famous artists that do these type of paintings and sell it for thousands, if not millions. So anyways, let me fast forward this one so we could get to the next step. Now I'm gonna go with a darker orange and see how I'm using it out of the cap. You can do that, or you can just pour some paint on a paper plate. And since that's disposable, you can go that route as well. It might be easier. You probably just want to be careful pouring too much paint if you're not gonna use it. Maybe just try to put it back in the bottle if you have too much. I'm gonna go with the darker blue now. And just keep in mind, when you get the brush kit, make sure you get quite a few of them. Like I said, they're very inexpensive. And the reason being, you want to use one brush for the lighter color. So for like the yellow, orange, and the orange, use one brush. And then for the darker ones, use a different brush. And the reason I say that is because if you use this darker blue, right, and you don't wash it well enough, and then you go and try using the yellow orange, some of the blue is still there on the brush, and it's gonna mess it up. It's happened to me before. So try using two different or several different brushes. So as you can see, this one is for lighter colors, and then this one is for darker colors. That way, it prevents you from, like I said, some of the residue from the blue to, if it's on this one and then I use yellow on this one, it may turn into like green. So, just be careful with that. Just be mindful with that. So, and these colors are very translucent. So you may have to go back, a second coat. Again, this is practice, but maybe down the road, as you keep practicing with the children, that just keep that in mind. So all right, I'm gonna speed this up. All right, so now I'm gonna go back with the lighter blue, and then I'm gonna do a second coat on these, and then I'm gonna paint it on this one. And I'm gonna show you something really quick too. So on some of these colors, especially if it's a lighter color, and say for instance you went over like this, because this is a lighter color, you can go back with the darker color and just go over it. The harder part is that, like what happened here, if I go over the line with the blue, it's going to be much harder to paint with the yellow orange over top of it, and you'll still probably see it. And what I did here, I tried scraping it off. Since this is a hard canvas, I scraped it some, and then I'm going to paint that yellow orange over top of it. You don't have to do that. You got to be careful that you don't scrape too much and then it goes too deep in the canvas. You can certainly try to paint. It's just a little dot, so you can just paint right over top of it and see if it'll mask it. Just keep in mind, this could be the kid's first painting, so you definitely want to make them feel accomplished and that they did a great job. And I wanted to show you something too. On these, on the back of it, it's got a spot where they can sign it. It's got the date. It's just so when they grow up, they can go back and see, oh my gosh, I did that in 2019, 30 years from now, or whatever it may be. All right, so now I'm gonna go back with the orange, and I'm gonna paint this part, and then I'm gonna add another coat to these two. And just keep in mind too, just like the brushes where you're using one brush for the lighter colors, another one for the darker, same applies with the water. What happens is when you clean, especially this blue, when you clean it, the water's going to turn blue. So either, rinse the cup or the bowl, or have two bowls or two cups, one for the lighter colors and one for the darker. Just, keep in mind to keep it clean, because the same thing with using the brushes, you may get some of the residue, and then it's gonna shift the color a little bit. So just keep that in mind. All right, so, and I apologize, I'm turning the canvas. It makes it harder because, as I'm recording, I'm kind of away from it. Just something fun, like I said, it's an easy project, but a rewarding project, right? Because even for me, this is very basic for me, but it's still cool. I mean, I can hang it on in the bathroom or one of the rooms, or add something else to it later on another project. So it's always art, and that's the thing, is just to keep in mind that it's something productive, something fun. You're not sitting in front of the TV watching whatever. So this is just something to do with the kids, and have a good time. So I do want to talk to you, um and this part is optional, and that is at the very end, either adding a glaze or a varnish or something like that to kind of preserve the colors. You may not want to, it's all up to you. If this is the first actual painting for the child, even if they mess up and stuff like that, it may still be pretty cool for them to keep it. um like I said, you don't need to glaze it or varnish, however you want to call it. um because these colors will last a while, so it's really up to you. But you can there's a couple of different options out there. This is a varnish by Liquitex, and it's liquid, so you would apply it with a brush, and you make sure read the instruction, because some of these you have to add water, different parts to it. There's a brand by Golden, same thing, same concept, it's liquid. Or you could go the route of spraying it with, and there's different brands out there. There's some that are meant for paintings. There's clear gloss like this one. There's matte finish. If you go this route, just make sure the kids are not around, because obviously, the smell of these is toxic, and you want it to dry for a while before handling, because you can still smell it somewhat on the painting. So since these are for kids, you may want to go this route using a liquid, or not using any at all. Like I said, just giving you different options. And it's hope you guys had a great time working on this. And I have other videos that I'm gonna be doing. My mind is always constantly working. As I was painting this one, I was thinking of other projects to record, so you guys can practice with the kids. I enjoy doing this, and I hope you guys do as well. And let's continue, building artists, and preserving the arts. Nowadays you may not see it as much, just because there's so much distraction out there, whether it's video games. And there's nothing wrong with video games. It just, if too much of it, right, it's not very productive. Or watching TV or things like that, I think this makes them be creative and think, and not just for them, but to do it with the parents, with the teachers. It's fun. So all right, until next time, take care, you guys. Bye bye.